What's up, guys? Was able to rewatch the game a little bit early this week. So early stock report now is me a little bit different than most stock reports because there's just not a lot of stock ups besides the kickers and Juwan Briggs. So I will mention like Juwan Briggs legitimately looks like a real quality NFL caliber one tech that you have under rookie control for 3 more years. It costs you like a 6 round pick. So almost consider him like a day 3 pick this year. You could throw him into like the rookie class and really great early return. Like he is even more than a rotational run stuffer. Like I think he could be a core. Like I don't even know if he's not better than Harrison Phillips at stopping the run. He's like the 6th highest graded defensive tackle in the entire NFL through 2 games. So he definitely seems like a steal for sure. Like one of those JFM, well, not maybe Quincy's like an all pro, so maybe not that level, but just one of those, off the scrap heap pickups that Salah was able to churn out defensively. So good early returns for him. Again, the kicking game was solid, but really with this stock up, stock down, I just have through each phase: pass offense, pass defense, rush offense, rush defense, what kind of went wrong and how to fix it, and just try and be like more just here's what happened instead of turning it into a rant because we only get to do that once after game day, and then we got to shut up and just talk about the team, not emotionally as best we can. So look, starting with the passing offense in this one, and to me, the pass protection was not necessarily as bad as the 4 sacks would indicate. Doesn't mean it was great. Joey Bosa hit each of our tackles, Olu and Membo. He got them both with just like a swim move and just disposed both of them. Joey Bosa was playing out of his mind. Another one where they just blocked Joey Bosa one-on-one with Mason Taylor. His other pressure was Justin Fields not really understanding, not really working with his protection. The way he moved, he kind of ran himself into some pressure. So not as bad as I originally thought. And it really, in this game, to me, was just so eerily similar to a lot of Zach Wilson, Mike LaFleur games where it's like, yeah, your offensive coaching definitely isn't good. Your supporting cast is definitely lackluster, but the quarterback just isn't seeing the field, doesn't have it today, and is panicking in the pocket. So it was a lot of the passing struggles to me were just Fields did not have it in this game. Now, not every single week to week has to be a referendum on Justin Fields forever, because after week 1, it's like, hey man, the Jets don't need to take a quarterback next year because of Fields. Now it's like, oh my gosh, we're tanking. We're never going to win again after he struggles. And I will say, to Fields' credit, honestly, I thought that week 1, the offensive success was more him than the coaching staff scheming up dudes wide open. Like Fields was just threading needles week 1. Fields was moving within the pocket perfectly. And all that was reflected in things like completion percentage over expected, which means he was expected to complete about 68% of his passes, but he was closer to 80 because his accuracy was so deadly. And in this one, it was just the complete inverse. And there were some guys open. There was Garrett Wilson on that wide open hook. There was Mason Taylor right across the middle. There's a little pressure in your face, but if a guy's with nobody around him, you have to make that throw. I think the ball placement to Isaiah Davis should have caught that and fell down and got 8 yards because it did hit his hands. But if Fields hits him in stride, it could have been like almost a touchdown, like 1st and goal. So it was the best of Fields in week 1 and kind of the worst of Fields in this one. And I will say, I think the offense has done a decent job, the passing offense, of Garrett Wilson getting open a lot. I know one of the fears we had heading into the season was teams are just going to put like 3 dudes on Garrett and the Jets have no other receivers who could do anything. But he's been getting open, and he is actually number 1 in the NFL in the separation metric, like how often he is far away from the nearest defender. So the Jets have done a good job of scheming him open and like leveraging their number 1 receiver in terms of just him getting open. Obviously, in this game, they didn't throw it enough, and Fields didn't have it enough, and the offensive protection wasn't as good week 1 to really take advantage of that. But I think Garrett has been open. Like the receivers have been open more so than if you're just watching and you're like, oh, he's holding the ball, he's not throwing it to him. It's probably because Tyler Johnson sucks. Tyler Johnson's not great. Quarterback in this one, to me, and again, next week could be something different. We got to watch each game and say what we think. I don't think you should go into it and saying, oh my gosh, Field sucks, he's worse than like Zach Wilson, like someone just told me on Twitter. Like, no, he's not worse than Zach Wilson. We'll see how he does. It's a big bounce back game, opportunity for the whole team in Tampa, particularly the defense, because Baker and boys are probably licking their chops to get their hands on the secondary. We'll get to that in a minute. The rushing offense. So I will say this one definitely more so coaching than personnel. Now, shout out to Matt Milano. Matt Milano was out for blood. Him and Joey Bosa had two phenomenal games. But really, I touched on this in the stream after the game and rewatching it. It's like, yeah, man, the Bills were run blitzing their corners on first down with single high safety. It was the biggest sellout against the run I've ever seen. We've seen teams with Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle. I've never seen a team just sell out against the run like they did, and they just bet on those Jets week 1 tendencies, and they're like, we're going to just sell out against the run on first down. We're going to get you in, and it's going to be 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 5, and that's going to ruin your whole day. And then it worked. It truly did. So the immediate solution to that would be recognize that, and you could just do like a quick play action out of gun, not under center where you have to do a whole rollout and set up and whatever. Quick play action out of gun, pull it back, out breaking routes, 8 to 12 yards all day. We're there for you. Now, the Jets just probably didn't have that in their game plan, and Tanner Engstrand, first time doing this at the NFL level. He planned a birthday party at the park. It started raining. He didn't have any tents, pop-up tents. He didn't go under the pavilion. He just stand there and got soaked. And I understand, the quarterback was having a tough game, but I think that they weren't able to take advantage of that at all, of a team selling out against the run to that extent, where you have the corners were almost like edge rushers, like trying to jump the snap count, where it's like, you as a wide receiver, like you could tell, it's like, bro, this guy is not guarding me. Clearly, hey, just quick, you get that play action, you could flick a screen pass and go up and get 7-8 yards before that safety comes over. They were giving you that. So the inability to take advantage of that, I definitely think was just reflective of an inexperienced coaching staff. And you could say, well, they didn't trust their quarterback. He can't read the defense. It's like, dude, Justin Fields could throw a 5-yard out. So that, to me, the rushing offense was more just the Bills having a really, really a lot of conviction in what the Jets were going to do and betting right. And now the Jets, the book is out that another team can try and do that. And now the Jets have to be able to find that counter when they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The rush defense. Now, ironically, you think about all this time, the whole offseason, we've been thinking about or talking about, we need a run-stuffing defensive tackle. Our defensive tackles aren't good, so we're not going to stop the run. I actually think the defensive tackles of Quinnen, Briggs, and Harrison Phillips, and even Leonard Taylor, when he got some opportunities, I actually thought was the best unit on the team defensively. Everything else was bad against the run. The Jets' edge players who are not named Jermaine Johnson, this is the same issue as last year. The Jets' edge players not named Jermaine Johnson are all horrific run defenders, including my guy, Will McDonald. I love Will McDonald, but I gotta keep it real. He just has not, so far, that extra weight he's added has not yielded any results in him being a better run defender. He was PFF's worst graded edge against the run last year. And this year he is the worst by it's about a 10-point difference between him and even the second worst. So on run downs, he's a liability, which is tough because he's such a good pass rusher. Like he could, if he was able to play 75% of the snaps because his run defense is good enough, I think he could genuinely be like a 17 sack player. But right now he's kind of like a better version of Bryce Huff. So we'll see how that develops. But and then obviously guys like McGregor and even Clemens, like Clemens is the least bad of them against the run. Obviously his penalties, that's a whole other thing. But in Barron last week, McGregor this week, it's just, McGregor actually, if it's just if it's a passing down, he has some decent chops as a pass rusher, but as a football player, he has no awareness and he's on the ground a ton. And against the little pop pass to Elijah Moore, like he just like his controller glitched. He was just like going like this, like up the this. McGregor is a tough watch, man, because his bad reps are really, really bad. So I don't know what the solution is there, but personnel wise, at edge it's tough. And then in this game, in the run defense, the Jets were running a run stunts against the Bills zone rushing scheme. So they have the whole offensive, the defensive line and the offensive line are all shifting one way, like a zone run, obviously. And then they have depending on which side it was too, Sherwood or Quincy coming in as these loopers across the back of the stunts. And when it was Sherwood, dude, Sherwood was getting washed. He was getting pleated like a pair of Levi's, man. It was tough. It was a tough watch for Sherwood. Quincy, he had bad reps too, and he also missed a tackle on the long touchdown run. But Quincy, he'll still he's so fast that he'll beat blocks. He'll disengage from blocks. He'll make tackles. Like Quincy doesn't look like an all pro so far this year, but Quincy's still to me, I know he had a missed tackle, but in a bad penalty in week 1, but the overall chops of his game, you can still see Quincy's a baller. Sherwood, that was tough. Sherwood looked like a safety trying to play linebacker in this specific game. Now, again, just in this specific game, that's what I saw. Now it's tough. I think a guy like CJ Mosley with that stopping power, that physicality, that downhill thumping, that was missed in this game. Sherwood, tough. And so what do you do about that? I mean, they're going to be your starting linebackers. He just has to play. He just has to play better, I guess. Because initially when I was watching the game, I'm like, man, these defensive tackles are getting pushed around because James Cook is not getting touched until this level. But if you rewatch it, it's they're getting Sherwood right in that hole, in that spot where he has to make the play. And if he doesn't, it's a big gain. And he was just getting washed out. So it was a tough one for Sherwood, who I think will bounce back. He did have a good year last year. He was voted, team MVP by his teammates. And so hopefully he'll bounce back. But yeah, that was the main issue on the run defense. I mean, there wasn't even a ton of whiffs from the secondary in this one. So, man, I don't know what the answer is on the run defense front, man. I'm not really sure. The pass defense, now Wilks and Glenn, now we'll I don't know who is. So Glenn calls the defensive plays. Or no, I'm sorry. Incorrect. Wilks calls the defensive plays, but I don't know to the extent that Glenn, how much of Glenn fingerprints are on it. I'm going to guess a significant amount because at least in his previous stops, Wilks has leaned a lot more cover 3 and Glenn a lot more cover 1. And the Jets have been the most cover 1 heavy team in the NFL. So I don't know if it's a situation where it's this is my defensive principles and you execute it, because that's what Wilks did in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan says, these are my defensive principles. You're my DC. You call the plays, you install it, but this is the blueprint of the defense. So, to the extent that it matters, I don't know, because I see people saying, "Oh, well, Glenn needs to take over the defense." It's Glenn is heavily involved in the defensive scheming and calling, so I don't really anticipate that happening. But they're running a lot of cover 1, and they're running almost exclusively cover 1 on third downs. In this game, it was almost the same defensive play call on third and passing down every single time. It was cover 1, single high safety, eligible, ineligible, and then the 5 on 5, all the eligibles, 4 down linemen rushing, and that extra defender was just the linebacker who was either blitzing or green dogging the running back. And that was every single 3rd and 7+. They did that same defense almost the entire. Now, maybe I missed one and it was a different call, but I don't have the acumen to know. It's totally possible. But guys, I'm telling you, it's not rocket science to know what cover 1 looks like. It was the same play call on almost every 3rd and long. So now the benefit of that is I think you don't have as many miscommunications, which there were not as many miscommunications as the previous week. When they're playing a little bit more zone, and Michael Carter's passing off a defender to nobody. So I think they just have to find their balance and find and also find what is the minimum effective dose of blitzing, because that's kind of a give and take. I think ideally you want to blitz as little as possible. Really, you really want to try and get home with 4 as much as you can, and pretty much all the data supports that. But you have to get home. You have to get pressure on the quarterback. So what is that minimum effective dose of blitzing? I think they have to fine tune that, and you have to mix up a little bit on third and long cover 1, especially when you just don't have right now. Sauce was bad, but Sauce is gonna be fine in coverage. Stevens is suboptimal. Carter just doesn't look right. And then both your safeties are bad. So out of your 5 defensive backs, you're only really confident in one being really good in man coverage. So that's just they don't have the dudes right now to play that much cover one. I think is kind of the issue there. Reddit just got a penalty. That's amazing. Anyway, guys, I am going to hop over on Dylan Turman's channel in just a bit. I just didn't feel like making a video and uploading it, so I figured I'd go live, shoot this one out really quick. Stock report. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we will talk Jets ball soon. Hop over to Dylan Turman's channel, and we'll just keep it rolling from there. We'll talk some more Jets over there. See you guys soon.